Hello, this is Boone McIntosh, Doug Barlow, and Thomas Rosales, and welcome to our presentation on the MVC pattern. The MVC stands for Model, View, Controller, and it is a design pattern that focuses on separating an application into three distinct independent parts, respectively the model, view, and the controller. The model consists of the actual data being presented and manipulated in the application, and is usually represented as a database, file, object, etc. The view is the user interface. This consists of essentially anything the user sees and/or interacts with. The controller acts as the bridge between the model and the view. This will handle the user input and update the model. This tends to look like the functionality that will update information in the database or pull from the database to display on the user interface. The neat part of the MVC pattern is that each of the three aspects work together but are independent of each other, meaning if you are to change the way the UI is set up or how the database is organized, you can make the necessary change and it will have no impact on the other aspects of the MVC pattern. This organization is one of the reasons why the Model View Controller pattern is a popular development pattern today. Let's look at an example of using the MVC pattern using our app Bookstash. Let's say a user wants to add a new book into their existing collection. The user will interact with the UI, allowing them to input the proper information to add their book. The controller code will take this information and update the information of the model or database. With new information in the database, the controller will pass the updated information back to the view to display the added book to the collection. Note that if we wanted to change the UI for adding a book, we could do so and it would have no impact on the way the data is passed to the database or how the database is set up.
The Model View Controller design pattern has several advantages. The primary advantage is that it allows for a separation of concerns. This directly contributes to many of the other advantages that this design pattern has, such as easier code maintenance. This is because the MVC model allows for changes to be made to the model without having to alter the code in the view, and vice versa. The view can be altered without affecting the model. Because of this, the MVC model, if implemented properly, provides portability, as it should allow an entire model or view to be swapped out with another without affecting the rest of the project. In addition to this, the MVC pattern allows for multiple user interfaces, such as an HTML interface or a mobile app interface, to be designed and used concurrently. Other advantages include improved testability, easier debugging, and quicker development. The Model View Controller design pattern doesn't have many disadvantages. However, the ones it does have center around the complexity of the MVC design principles. Due to MVC's tendency to make projects more complex, it may not be feasible or cost-effective to use this design pattern on small or temporary applications. Because of the complexity, implementing MVC properly can also present a challenge to new developers or developers who are unfamiliar with MVC design principles.
The Model View Controller is a widely used design pattern because, as we have seen, the advantages far outweigh the disadvantages of the pattern. Just about every modern application could benefit from the use of the Model View Controller design pattern. Of course, if the developer does not have adequate design or coding experience, we would not recommend the MVC pattern.